I've got you. There you are.
Nice. Go for
Man,
that.
how are you, Tim?
Not too bad.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, all in your pink getup and everything. Fantastic. I feel privileged.
I got you bigger now.
Hey, thanks so much for doing this today. I really appreciate it.
That's all right. I'm just in my studio here. It's very easy.
What a studio it is. I think I first saw you performing, I don't know, I feel like it was probably around 15 years ago, a very long time at a Sexpo that I went to with my friends. And I have to say your creative path is a very unique one, and you got some skills. You got some really good skills.
Well, I'm 74 now.
Oh
So
wow.
I shouldn't be allowed to do this, I don't think, but I still get asked, so I do.
Can you give us a bit of an overview of what is Pricasso? What is it that you do?
Mainly I paint portraits of people very quickly.
Hmm.
Um, Sit in front of me, I hold a canvas in one hand and my fingers in the other, and I paint them. Nowadays, I'm doing a lot of cabaret shows, which I talk all the way through and crack jokes at the same time as I paint them, which is really quite difficult sometimes. But I'm getting better.
I bet. So you're a painter, artist, and a performance artist. I mean, you mustn't be overly shy, I suppose. I mean, it's a very
I used
unique thing.
very shy a long, long time ago, but I've trained myself. But after two failed marriages, and yeah, I thought that was a waste of time. So I'm much more, a matter in 1,000 years. Yeah.
Right, right. So how does one come to be Picasso? How did this journey of being able to paint with your penis begin?
Well, I was actually watching a show called Puppetry the Penis, and
Yep.
they've got the best job in the world, those guys. And I was sort of like, I had a pottery, but I've been a builder most of my life, a
Mm,
carpenter, and I
nice.
thought, no, that would be better than slaving away because I was getting pretty old then. And I thought I'd do that for a year or two. So I had to keep it really quiet for a couple of years while I got better at drawing. I've always been able to draw really well.
Hmm.
Uh, I got a job sketching at a market, just portraits with my pants on, with
Yep.
charcoal. Yeah. And one day, a lady came along and said, "Can you paint a new portrait of me at my house? Yeah, at her house." And I said, "Yeah, I can paint you with my penis if you like." And she dragged me home, and well, she was blown away. And then she said, "Oh, you better come to our bondage club." And I hadn't got a clue what a bondage club was then. I was very, very naive. And as soon as I got there, I realized I was the most normal person in the whole room. And so it didn't bother me anymore. I could practice there painting portraits of people, and they loved it. And they told me come back every evening after I finished the market, which was like 10 o'clock at night. And I used to go there till 4 in the morning. And I got really used to being naked and holding my penis in front of a lot of people. Otherwise, it would. I know.
So had you at this? How old were you when you this began?
I was 54, about 20 years ago. Yeah.
Mm. And before that, no artistic career, just the building.
I had a pottery, which I used to in here actually, because
Mm.
I've been in this like 40 years, and it's changed a bit. But I used to have, well, what we're standing at the moment was like trolley kilns and things like that. And yeah, I used to employ quite a lot of people. But I used to do like little mugs with crocodiles on them and dragons and things like that.
Yeah,
And yeah,
cool.
they were for a while. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
So when this lady took you to her place and you painted her with your penis, had you practiced the painting with the penis before this, or was it just a one hit, one shot go, let's give it a crack then and there?
as soon as I thought of it, I tried it, And of course, you know, when you first start, it's pretty erotic. So,
Right.
you know, within seconds, you're as hard as a rock, and you think, oh, I can't do it in front of people. But the more normal it seems, actually, people always say that to me, you know, after they've seen me painting for even 10 minutes, they say, it just seems quite normal now, you know, and because they're really interested in what I can create, you know, the finished product, really. And they just sort of, they just watch, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't.
So how do you do it? How are you? I think I saw one video where you're actually getting a paintbrush and you're sticking the handle down the old dick hole. Is that right?
Yeah, I just sign it like that, and that makes most men cringe, you know.
Yeah.
No, it just makes people, yeah, gets a good reaction right at the end. That's why I do that. It doesn't.
So
I'm used to it. Yeah.
right. So are you just basically just dipping it in paint and just free painting using your dick as the brush, no brush down there at all, just
Yeah, you got the penis. You can squeeze it and make a very fine lines and things like that, or just use it, or use your testicles as well and your butt cheeks. You know, that's what makes people laugh as well. So.
Yeah. There's a great element of humor to your work, really. How is it as a tool? How does it compare to the brush? I mean, is it is it the subject of frustration for you, or is it actually a pretty malleable tool?
I just use it, you know, I put lots of oil on to protect my skin from the paint a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you fluff it up a bit, you know, make it hard, really. And if I blend it, painting at bondage clubs or something like that, the people there get much more interactive. So, you know.
I bet. What kind of paint do you use?
I just make my own, actually. I get most of the stuff at Bunnings. I use a lot of paint, and the paint I make is actually much more body friendly. And if you spill it on someone's dress or something, it'll wash off very easily. And it's it's good. You know, yeah, it's my little secret, really.
Can I ask how's the years of painting with the tackle? How is that sorry if this is a forward question, but I'm sure you're used to every question that comes at you. It how's the sensitivity down there? Is it is it is it still like is it taken its toll using it for as an implement for work?
Well, it still works pretty well.
Great.
Doesn't look misshapen or anything. It's probably slightly longer if I, you know, but not much. Um, and people do, you know, women say you've got the most beautiful penis I've ever seen. You
Hey, you take that as a compliment for sure. That's music to your ears, I'm sure.
The world's most photographed penis too, or one of them.
Yeah, one of them. I'm sure there's a few. So what are your favorite subject matters to paint? I know you paint a lot of portraits, but I can see in the background you've got a large painting of dogs, and there looks like a kind of lily pad Monet one back there. I mean, are these all paint? Do you paint with brushes as well, or are these all creations of Picasso?
Yeah, now I've been trying a bit. I've never sold a painting with a brush in my life. I've never really tried, but
Hmm.
when I get too old to do this, I'll start painting with a brush, I suppose, and just fill this place with old landscapes and things like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
who knows? Yeah.
And with the portrait painting, I mean, I imagine you've done well, you do about one a day, right? You're extremely prolific, extremely fast as well.
Yeah, well, when I'm at Sexpo or something, I'll paint, you know, 20 quick paintings a day, really, there. And it goes on for like 3 or 4 days sometimes. In
That's
fact, I'm
crazy.
leaving on Monday to fly to Johannesburg to do a
Oh,
Sexpo. I mean, it's a 4 day. Um, yeah.
that must be exhausting.
and then I come back and do the Melbourne Sexpo. I got a week in between the two, I think.
Yeah. I mean, 20 paintings just you know, at the best of times is exhausting. I mean, doing it, performing nude in front of all the people, like you must, does it take, do you just collapse in a heap?
I have a big crowd around. No, I find it very meditative, actually, painting. You know, like if I'm not talking, it's very relaxing. You know, if I'm just looking at them painting, and 15 minutes later, I hand the painting to them, and they're painting.
Yeah, pay me. Have you had many high profile subjects for portraits?
Yeah, I had quite a few. I've actually been flown all around the country to paint people, but they always want me to be not tell anyone.
Sure.
Film and things like that, and I've been flown to London to paint John Paul Gaultier.
Wow.
At one point, which didn't go that well. The trouble is, when they fly you there, they always pick you up the next morning from your hotel, and you haven't slept very well. You're jet lagged, and you feel drunk, and the painting never come out very well. I've got to actually emphasise I want a couple of days to acclimatise before I go to the studio next. And if it ever happens again, but it probably never will.
Yeah. So what happened with Jean-Paul Gaultier? Why did it go so poorly?
It could have been a great portrait, but it wasn't really. They kept me waiting, and the studio was freezing cold because they don't want to sweat and things like that. And I was standing there for half an hour, shivering, and then they said, off and I was jet lagged, and but the painting looked like him, but it wasn't a good painting. I didn't think. But,
Right.
Yeah, they always. But sometimes the paintings come out really, really amazing, but sometimes they don't. I can't guarantee it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's such a unique career path that you've carved out to yourself. And I imagine with that, you're talking a bit before about being a builder. I imagine there has been a huge lifestyle shift from that first bondage party slash nude painting. I mean, is this how you, I'm sure it's not how you imagined your life to turn out, but what was your life before that contrasted to now? And like how has this journey affected your life, your happiness, and just your overall experience on on this earth?
Yeah, I guess, I was brought up in the UK. My dad was he was an officer in the Navy and things like that. So I was sent away to like boarding schools and things like that because he was always at sea, and mum didn't cope, I suppose. And so I was sort of like, I was always very small, blonde, blue-eyed, and I sort of hid myself away a lot, just to get out of the way of other guys. And I ended up in the art school, art department most of the time, woodwork. I actually like building things more than I do painting, I think, like sculpture and things. What was the question again? I'm going off track.
Oh, no. Just the contrast between your life pre-Pricasso and post.
I left there and I applied to go to art school in London. I only applied to 3 art schools in London, the best ones because I was good at it. I was really good at art. I always came top in that. And I failed all the interviews because I looked like 12 years old, I suppose, and very shy. So I had a gap year then, and I got a job at Funfair, which was fantastic. I really learned a lot about life at that Funfair. It was in Portsmouth because that's where we lived, and it was on the seafront. With a lot of stalers around and little prostitutes and things like that. So I sort of I woke up to the world very quickly, and then I got a job on a building site, and because I love carpentry, and then I applied to do furniture design because Dad was really he was really British, and he expected you to conform, and of course I did. I conformed, and I met my girlfriend and got married when I was very young. We had kids and things when I was like 20 or 23, I think. Which are now like in their 50s.
Wow, yeah.
And that marriage worked all right, for a while, and then I decided to come to Australia, and it was fun. I actually wanted to go home after a year. We only came here for like a holiday, really, because my mum's Australian. She was born in Australia, so I had automatic entry. But you had to work so much harder in Australia than you did in the UK, and I thought, anyhow, but hot. I thought I'm going to die out here. So that's when I sort of started putting windows in high-rise buildings on the Gold Coast and things like. We travelled around for a year first. Had a great holiday. It was like grey Australians, but we were like 20, and it was great. I had a fantastic time. 25, but yeah. And then I built some houses and do stick building and things like that. Made a bit of money and bought this place. Yeah. And then my parents came out, and we bought the property together, and I've been here ever since, I suppose. We got divorced. I've been divorced a couple of times, married twice, divorced twice, given away 2 houses. And I'm going to do something I want to do, and I just ignored everybody and tried not, because I was very normal up to when I was 50-ish. I just conformed and, had a superannuation, children, and I got divorced for the second time and had to give away a lot of money. And I thought, what was all that for? And I decided I was going to enjoy myself doing this, because I thought I had the idea. I made a big long list of what I had to do, and I did it really. I went through the list. I practiced every night for about 18 months, painting with my pen, because I didn't actually tell anybody, because I thought they would think I was a bit weird. So I always started quite late at night when I knew no one was going to come and knock at the door and say, let's go out or anything. So,
Right.
and I practiced, and I could see I was getting a lot better, just from photos, just copying photos and things like that. Yeah, and then I got the job at the market. Now I joined Toastmasters, actually. I joined Toastmasters, which was great. I really, really enjoyed Toastmasters because you have to give speeches in front of people, and I've never done that in my life. I got so much better. In fact, after 6 months, they asked me to leave. No, I really enjoyed that. I'd like to go back, actually, but I haven't got the time. I'm just so busy.
Right.
And that's how it progressed. And then I got the lady at the market, and then I started practicing on real live human people, painting them. And then Sexpo rang me up, and I was employed by them ever since, really.
Yeah. And so how is life? I mean, is it much freer, happier? Are you happier since this Pricasso thing has taken off? I mean, I bet you've got a lot of pretty crazy stories, mate.
Yeah, I do love. I never stop working. I never stop. I've never stopped. I really haven't had a holiday for like 20 years, but I do go overseas regularly, and people say, "Oh, you're going on holiday." I work bloody hard when I'm overseas, and I sleep on the plane, and I don't mind. I don't. I've looked round places, but it's not the same as actually being with someone and looking around, having a holiday with a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I enjoy my life. I love my house. I got 50 acres of rainforest. My 2 sons live on the property. I got one next door and one down in a cabin down there. And my daughter lives over there somewhere on the beach. Because I live on the Gold Coast, or above overlooking the Gold Coast. It's a beautiful place. And I do love my life, you know.
Yeah, wonderful. Your house slash studio is incredibly unique. I found photos that you posted like ages ago, and it's like I don't know. I mean, can you describe? I mean, inside it looks fantastic, spacious, wonderful studio, but the exterior is extremely unique. Can you explain or describe the exterior and how the design came about?
Yeah, no, it's a bit like Gaudi, because I used to go around Europe, and I'd always wanted to build something around, but and I built this where my pottery is. It was just so like a shed, really, a big weatherboard shed. And then they started subdividing across the road, and I thought, oh, have I got to pull my house down or sculpture, make it into a sculpture? So that's what I did. Yeah, and I put a metal frame all over the outside of the house, and chicken wire, and then petrified hessian, they call it. And then I just plastered it with reinforced concrete, cement with little fiberglass, I don't know what to call it, but fiberglass in it, so it's really strong. And I just plastered it, really. And it's taken me years, but I was actually doing a bit of concreting this morning. Yeah, redoing a little bit. Well, redoing the eye. I got a big eye that looks down the road when you drive up, and yeah, and I'm putting another eye beside it now to make it look like a face. But it's I'll be doing that after Christmas, I guess.
Amazing.
Although I've got Scotland after quick Christmas at some point. I can't remember. January, I think. It's freezing over there.
Have you ever tried to kind of crack into the art world or the gallery world? Or I saw that you've entered the Archibald before. What's your experience been like with the the upmarket wanky gallery world?
Yeah, I've entered the Archibald about seven times. I can show you the picture if you like.
Sure, would love to see.
Oh, this is my room. That was the last one. Oh, I don't even see the lady, the lady there,
Fantastic.
and she's one of my neighbours actually. She's Marissa, and Marissa Burgess. She was the principal dancer at the Moulin Rouge for 15 years actually.
Oh wow.
And that's a friend of mine. I entered him to he's a hypnotist. I don't know if you can see him.
Yeah, I can see. Fantastic.
And that's my little shop there. I sell a few artwork, what do you call it? Yeah, products.
Supplies, yep.
Brushes. Yeah.
So how has the art world received your unique work?
They just send them back.
Hey, you and me both.
I've entered the Archibald 7 times now, and yeah, I just have to pay for it to go down there and pay for it to come back again. It's bloody expensive. So
Yeah.
I've given up. It's too much effort.
Yeah. Are those entries that you submitted, were they painted with your penis as well, or are they by hand?
The hypnotist was painted with a penis. The other one, the lady, was painted with a brush.
Right.
She didn't paint with a penis. I come out almost the same, but it just takes a long time. It takes longer to paint with your penis than a brush. Much easier with a brush.
Right. Yeah, I bet. Have you sorry, I saw that you also offer your standard portraits, but you also have R-rated kind of shows or videos. What's involved in the R-rated, XXX version of a Pricasso portrait?
Well, mostly they want to embarrass a friend or something. So they send me a picture of him, and I put it up on my monitor up there, and I paint it. But they usually want erections and you know, I put the camera on the ground, so you're looking up at your bum or the
Yeah.
ceiling, and do a strip, and mostly they want me to jerk off all over the painting at the end, you know, and make a big so it all dribbles. Oh well, I thought, why not?
Why not? Fuck it.
I-
Just lean into it. And what about your shows when you're actually kind of performing at bondage clubs and stuff? You said it's a lot more hands-on. Does it get pretty wild? Do you get much painting done?
It does, yeah. Gets pretty well. I at swingers clubs, I paint couples having sex in front of me, you know, yeah, it does happen now and again, but not that often. You wouldn't believe, you know. I think, and I do sort of gay clubs and things like that, but I reckon most gay people would prefer to be doing it than watching it, you know.
Right.
Jealous, I think.
Does it ever get out of hand? Does it ever go a bit pear-shaped? Does it all, I'm sure it gets pretty intense in that environment.
Not really. I can paint. I can get a good likeness of anyone, and people are always quite impressed. And no, wish it did, but it doesn't really. Yeah, it's all. I think once people get over the idea of it, they're just fascinating at watching the results really coming out. You know, after a while, because I get. It's just like drawing with a pencil, really, but you're holding your penis, and I can get a likeness of the person almost straight away, you know. So it looks like them almost straight away. Within 3 or 4 minutes, it looks like them, and then I just sort of like embellish it a bit with shading and hair coloring, and do a few bit more performance. I talk my way through it, what I'm doing all the time. Sometimes, well, if I'm on stage, and I make people laugh, and yeah, and always finish up by putting the brush in your
down the old dick hole, the old weapon of mass creation.
And I paint the edges, you know, all the edges. I say, and you don't need to frame this because I'll paint the edges, and I put it between my leg now, and yeah, all the edges get first, and then I sign it. That's always, you know.
That's really awesome. I mean, hey, just create the life you want, and you've definitely done that. I tell you, I'm an artist myself, and I cannot draw or paint anywhere remotely close to the speed that you do. It's very impressive.
Yeah, well, I paint 1,000 a year, I suppose. 1,000 paintings a year sometimes. I used to, yeah, I don't do more, but not quite. Probably half that now. But yeah, so I've had a lot of practice.
Yeah. Yep. So what's going to happen in did you say South Africa or Johannesburg? How long are you there for, and what's going to happen there?
All right, I leave on Monday, and the show starts on Thursday evening, and then it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's just a Sexpo. It's same as
Oh,
the
right.
Sexpo, really, and yeah, and they look after me really well there. You know, put me up in a nice, capital hotel, and collect me at the airport sometimes, and deliver me back to the airport on Monday.
Yeah.
And like Wednesday, I get back on Wednesday. I leave on Monday and come back on Wednesday, following Wednesday. Yeah, but I'm working the whole time virtually, apart from one day.
Right. Where's your favorite country to paint in? What's where is it the most receptive, and where's it the most I don't know, controversial or frowned upon? Have you had any experiences like that?
Well, I painted. I used to go to Macau I've been there about 10 times every year, and we used to paint that show at the Venetian, which was amazing, and put me up in, lavish place and fly you there. And then I went to Taiwan at one place, and we stayed in um, a resort which had hot springs coming up out of the ground and things like that. Hot pools and waterfalls which are boiling hot and freezing cold. And we stayed there for a week before the show. It was unbelievable.
Great.
I've been to America quite a few times. I've seen the Grand Canyon. I've been to Vegas, painted there, but mainly in just small clubs and things. Never got on a big stage, because America's very they don't like nudity on stage really. So I only can do little clubs when we were there. But
Yeah,
still fun.
Yep. I would have thought you'd fit in very well in Vegas, especially with the outfit.
Yeah, no, I had a great time, but I only played at like little small clubs and things like that, and there for a week or two. And I looked around, I had a bit of a holiday there.
Yeah, nice. It's a great part of the world. How do people get a portrait? And can I ask what kind of price tags you put on these portraits?
Well, I'm actually snowed under at the moment because I've got so many shows coming up, and it's Christmas, of course, and I've got about 8 people I haven't actually replied to yet. You just go to my website and you just make a contact, and I'll try and reply.
Business is good.
It's too good, really. I should put my price up higher, but I always feel embarrassed, really. I charge 400 from $400 US upwards,
right?
Which is fucking good money now because the Australian dollar's like 60 cents or something. So I could actually, I stayed at home, I'd make a lot more money, but I like performing. I perform on stage twice a day at all the Sexpos, and then I've got a cabaret show coming up in the end of November, I think. And I'm going to be really busy for the next month or two, and I haven't got time to do any more painting.
Yep. Good problem to have.
Full time at the moment, yeah. After Christmas, better again. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm busier and busier. But
Well, Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you. When would is the cabaret show in Melbourne, did you say?
No, the cabaret show's in Brisbane. No, I'm doing Sexpo in Melbourne. On the I think it's the 9th, 10th, or 10th, 11th, and 12th of November.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, look, I'll try and make it to Sexpo and see you performing live, because would be it's like you say, once you get over the the kind of shock value of it all, it just seems very normal, actually.
I'll do your portrait free if you like.
Oh, really? Oh, hey, I'll hold you to that. That would be amazing.
Yeah. It's a 74-year-old.
How did the outfit come about? How's that evolved over time? It's pink, it's plastic, shiny, and it's lighting up.
Yeah, no, it's evolved. I used to paint with silver costume when I started, but then when you're painting couples, the guys were always a bit like, whoa, they wouldn't smile because they thought you were like too out there. And so I started dressing in pink, and the guys accept it as you're not going to make a move on my lovely girlfriend here. So.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's really interesting.
So, I mean, a lot of guys just laugh all the way through. I think it's fantastic, but you get the odd like, alpha male.
Yep, prude. Well, awesome. Again, Tim, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and everyone jump on Pricasso.com. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, and have a great
Brilliant.
time in South Africa.